This delicacy was once seen as peasant food.
And commonly served to prisoners.
What is it? Find out next on Sarah's Wiki Corner podcast.
It is 4:14. Time for Sarah's Wiki Corner. Hello, Sarah.
Hello.
Hello. What are we learning about today on your Wiki Corner?
So we're finishing up our theme week on weird history.
Yes.
Now, how do you feel about lobster? Do you like lobster? I know you like Red Lobster.
I love Red Lobster.
Do you do you order lobster at Red Lobster when you go, or no?
Sometimes. It's a lot of work to eat the lobster.
It is.
But it's payoff. The buttery sauce is delicious.
Right. Well, at one time, lobster was considered a poverty food or as food for indentured servants or lower members of society.
When was this?
In places like Maine, Massachusetts, and the Canadian Maritimes.
When was this? Let me be one of those people.
It was like back in the colonial days.
Oh, some time ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
The American lobster was not originally popular among European colonists in North America. This was partially due to the European Inlanders Association of Lobster with barely edible salted seafood, as well as the extreme abundance of lobster at the time of the colonists' arrival, which contributed to a general perception of lobster as an undesirable peasant food.
Peasant food?
Yeah,
Okay.
like there was so much of it that they were like, this can't be.
Was it like the mac
Nobody
and
else
cheese?
is eating this. There's so much of it.
Is it the mac and cheese of today? Or yesterday? Mac and cheese. Today's mac and cheese yesterday? Is that
What?
is it the peasant food, mac and cheese? Like the Kraft mac and cheese?
Yeah, no, I don't think so. It's delicious.
Well, I know it's delicious, but
I don't know.
Highbrow people don't eat the blue box mac and
That's
cheese.
true. You're probably right.
And so much of that in Pittsburgh,
Some servants even specified in their employment agreements that they would not eat lobster more than twice per week. Lobster was also commonly served in prisons, much to the displeasure of inmates. And American lobster was initially deemed worthy only of being used as fertilizer or fish bait.
This is unbelievable.
And what's interesting, well, I don't know if it's interesting or not, but I did read too that lobster is like one of the top last meals for prisoners who are nowadays.
Yeah, I would go out with lobster.
Yeah.
I think. Can you do surf and turf? Can I do lobster and steak?
I think you can do whatever you want, can't you?
I don't know. Can you?
I think the sky's the limit, isn't it?
Is it really? Well, then it's surf
I'm not
and
really
turf.
sure. I've always assumed that.
A little bit of each.
Yeah, right. So the American lobster did not achieve popularity until the mid-19th century when New Yorkers and Bostonians developed a taste for it, and commercial lobster fisheries only flourished after the development of a boat called a lobster smack, which was a custom-made boat with open holding wells on the deck to keep the lobsters alive during transport.
It's important.
So lobsters, like snails and spiders, have blue blood.
Do they really?
They do.
And like royals.
Right. Their blood is colorless until it's exposed to oxygen, at which point it turns blue.
Blue?
Yeah.
Weirdos.
Speaking of colors, typically lobsters are a mottled brown, but genetic mutations can create red, blue, calico, and even albino lobsters.
Oh.
And lobsters turn red when they're cooked because the heat causes a chemical reaction that releases the pigment from the lobster's shell.
Oh.
So then it becomes red.
Red and
That's why they
delicious.
turn red from the brown color.
And that's why it's called Red Lobster.
Yeah, wow, yes.
It's all coming
Absolutely.
together.
That's exactly why it's called that, yeah. So lobsters usually move around and hunt for food at night. People used to think that lobsters were scavengers and ate primarily dead things. However, researchers have discovered that lobsters catch mainly fresh food, which includes fish, crabs, clams, mussels, sea urchins, and sometimes even other lobsters.
So lobsters like lobster and lobster like seafood.
Right.
So they can't really hold it against us that we enjoy
Lobster.
them.
Right, exactly. And they are cannibals. So.
Yeah, right? So,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lobsters smell their food by using 4 small antennae on the front of their heads and tiny sensing hairs that cover their bodies. Their sense of smell is so fine that
How fine is it, Sarah?
they can sniff out a single amino acid that tags their favorite food.
A single amino acid,
single
you say?
amino acid. That's right.
Okay.
Pretty good.
Well, you're very
Pretty good.
sciencey all of a sudden.
And one of their claws can exert pressure of up to 100 pounds per square inch.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That'll hurt.
Yeah.
That'll nip you.
Lobsters live up to an estimated 45 to 50 years in the wild. Young lobsters molt several times a year, but after they hit 1 pound, they start molting annually. And every time they molt, they increase 20% in size.
Oh, do they? Oh,
Yeah.
so they get
As far as scientists know, lobsters continue to grow throughout their entire lives. Lobsters will continue to eat, grow, and molt indefinitely until they die of natural causes or are caught and then eaten.
Either way. It'll catch up.
According to Guinness World Records, the heaviest crustacean ever recorded was an American lobster caught off Nova Scotia that weighed 44.4 pounds.
Not even close to the
Not
goldfish.
even close to the goldfish.
That goldfish, 67 pounds, would just eat up that lobster. Crazy.
Right. Yeah.
That's a big lobster.
That is a big lobster. Yeah.
Jeez.
So Maine is the largest lobster producing state in the country, harvesting over 100 million pounds of lobster annually. Maine's lobster fishery is one of the oldest in North America, with the first documented catch in the 1600s.
Oof.
I was just there, and I can tell you, the lobster is delicious.
Delicious. Yeah.
So good.
But go ahead.
Maine's oldest lobster trapper is named Ginny Oliver, and she just celebrated her 104th birthday
My
in
goodness
June,
me.
and she is still out on the lobster boat. She still works with her 81-year-old son.
Yeah.
And they work off the coast of Rockland, Maine.
And if you like those features on the CBS News, On the Road with Steve Hartman, he's done 2 stories on that woman. That's why I'm familiar with her.
Yeah.
And she's
You showed me the video. She's really cute.
She's really cute. But 104 now, and her son's 80 something.
Yeah, and they're catching lobsters.
I'm not gonna say she looks young, but she doesn't look 104.
No, but she's active.
Good for her.
Yeah.
Good for her. That's a rough life out there.
It's tough.
I mean, on the
Tough
water.
work. Yeah.
And pinched by the lobsters. You picked out a record to go along with lobsters, did you, Sarah?
Yeah, so we're going to play Rock Lobster.
Rock Lobster.
By the B-52s.
Thank you, Sarah.
You're welcome. Is that the biggest lobster? No, that's not Nova Scotia. What is that?
What?
What's on this? What is that? What was that huge lobster that guy was holding?
I have no idea.
Oh.
I don't know what the images are that we get.
Okay.
They're
You just find them. Okay.
search lobsters.
Karen says, for listening, we get a lobster dinner on you, correct? I wish.
I wish.
If only.
Wish.
If the Red Lobster was still open, maybe. But there's no more Red Lobsters. So they closed all of them around here, didn't they?
Has it really closed?
The one in Henrietta was closed, I think, last time we drove by. Where was it? Was there another one? Oh, there was one in Greece, right? On
yeah,
Western
that
Road.
one's been closed, I think.
Yeah, I think they're all closed.
It's very sad.
It is.
Who was it? There was a rapper who wanted to.
Flavor Flav.
Flavor Flav.
Right? He was like buying the food from his local. He was buying a whole bunch of food from his local Red Lobster.
To try and keep it going?
Yeah.
I think that was.
Did you
just
see
an
Flavor
excuse.
Flav at the Olympics also?
Did I see? Okay, no.
Oh yeah, you don't watch the
I
Olympics.
don't watch the Olympics.
He was at the Olympics as well,
What was he doing there?
cheering on America.
Why wasn't he at Red Lobster? You can't go to the Olympics and save Red Lobster, Flavor Flav.
Well, he could do a little bit of both. I don't know.
So you were saying that because you went to Maine, you've been to Maine several times now. You're really kind of a Maine expert.
I mean, no, but I do
So-
like it there.
So the licenses or whatever, you need to be a lobster trapper.
Yeah, they have limited numbers of licenses if you want to be a lobster fisherman.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they said the current wait time, if you want one of these licenses, is 10 years. And it's very lucrative. Obviously, they catch 100 million pounds of lobster, and they sell it for less money. So it's very lucrative. And so people don't retire. Like lobster fishermen, it's kind of like a thing where they just like, clearly look at this 104-year-old lady. She's not retiring anytime soon.
No.
So there's like a huge wait time. So you can't just like decide you want to move to Maine and become a lobster fisherman, because there's like, and there's all these requirements. Like you have to have a certain number of hours on a boat with another licensed lobster fisherman.
Wow.
And
And you said you can't pass down your license.
No, so
when
you
you
can't.
die,
Right. So
or
like
quit.
you can like work, like say like you were a lobster fisherman and like your son was working with you. Like you don't pass your license on to him.
He has to get his own.
Yep.
With an 8-year, 10-year wait.
Yep.
So
Well, no, they have like a special program. They were telling us that for kids in schools where like kids who are going to be lobster fishermen, like in high school or whatever, they can take like half the days off of school and go like get their hours on the lobster boats.
That's wild.
Like it's just a normal like thing there.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we have like similar like work study kind of thing here, right?
No, it makes sense.
So it's like that, but for lobster. And then they also have like, I think they have a special program for like younger people to get into the lobster fishing, where like she said at graduation, you know, they'll announce like what college everyone's going to. But if you're like going to be a lobster fisherman, they'll say like which lobster boat you're going to be working on.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's so cool though.
It is. It's like, it was so interesting. We learned all this we took a like a sightseeing boat tour
Mm-hmm.
to see puffins and seals. And the announcer girl, she was like probably in her
The tour guide?
20s. Tour guide, yes, that's her name.
The
Tour guide,
announcer
that's
girl.
what she's called. No, but she was like from the area, so she was like telling us all this. It was really interesting.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting just to think like that's just the lifestyle up there.
Yeah.
Like it's just normal for kids to be off half the day part of the year just to go fish.
I think it's
lobster.
pretty cool that up there, in the lobster culture, that the lobster fishermen or fisher people, sorry if you don't
yes,
mind,
thank you.
Are so appreciated and so respected and honored that way. I feel like because they're like farmers of sorts,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
I feel like farmers should get the same kind of recognition. That's hard
totally.
work
Absolutely.
that we need.
Depend on, yeah.
Right.
And you know how like there's different buoys in the water?
Yes.
They're all different colors, right?
Right.
So the reason for that, you're getting like an extra bonus Wiki Corner here on Facebook, but each lobster fisherman is required to have their own like color and stripes, like design, I guess, basically of their buoy.
Yeah.
When you get your license, you have to like have it registered that those are your colors.
Okay.
And then your buoys are those colors, and you have to fly a flag on your boat with those colors because it keeps you honest. Because then if you're like checking other people's lobster traps with the different colored buoys, then it's really obvious because you're.
That's no good.
Yeah.
Oh, it's wow.
Yeah. And it's funny because like when we were like on the boat, we were like on the way out to the island. It was like a 3.5-hour tour. I was like, we were going past all these buoys and stuff, and I was like, I wonder why they're all different colors.
And then the lady,
then she explained it. The announcer lady, tour guide, told us.
Told you.
Yeah. It was really interesting.
What an interesting tour.
I know, it really was.
I feel like
it was
I've been
very
on the
cool.
tour now.
No, yes, you don't need to go now. I just told you.
Did they give you lobster on the boat?
Oh my gosh, no! Wouldn't that be cool though?
On the way back, you should serve that.
I was thinking like when we went to the Thousand Islands, we did like a charter.
Yeah.
And I was like, I wonder if the lobster fishermen ever do that, like where they even like go with them on their lobster boat and catch lobster. Like
it's fascinating how carefully that is regulated.
Oh, it's very regulated, yeah, because they want it to be sustainable.
Yeah.
So yeah, like if a lobster is too big, they throw it back. They have to measure it, and it's got to be like a very specific like size. If it's too small, they throw it back. If it's too big, they throw it back because the bigger they are, the more eggs they can have if they're female. And so like they don't want to like to kill those ones, obviously, because yeah.
Well, you've saved me a trip to Maine.
Yeah, there you go.
I've learned a lot about
lobsters. You should still go because
lobsters.
it's beautiful, but and you can eat a lot of lobster there.
I could give the tour now. I feel like I could give the tour. I could be the announcer lady on the tour. Did she wear like a hat with like a lobster on it?
No, it was very serious. Okay, she was very serious about it.
What's not serious about a red lobster hat?
I don't know.
Do they have red lobster up in Maine, or is that like?
I did not see a red lobster. Okay. I did not see it. That'd be funny, actually. I mean, there's like a million like lobster like on the side of the road.
All right, here we go. Legends 1027 B52's Rock Lobster. Sarah, do you remind us why do we just play that record?
Well, because we were talking about lobsters as part of our theme week, the last day in our theme week on Weird History.
That's right. Well, let's recap 3 things we must take away from today's Wiki Corner. Are you ready?
Ready.
Go.
All right. Lobster was once considered a peasant food and served to servants and prisoners.
Lobsters continue to grow throughout their entire lives.
And Maine is the largest lobster-producing state in the country, harvesting over 100 million pounds every year.
So let me ask you a very ignorant question.
Yeah.
Not my first, will not be my last. So other places in the world, do they harvest? Are there other, like over in Europe, do they have access to lobster? Or do they have to get their Maine lobster?
It's a different kind of lobster.
Different kind of lobster.
But I think so.
Doesn't
I think they're in
English.
I think they're in like all the oceans, maybe.
Okay. All right.
Not sure.
But Maine is the HQ.
Yeah, Maine, the East Coast, like Maine, Massachusetts, up in Canada, yeah.
All right. Folks want to learn more about lobsters, Sarah, they could either take the tour you took up in Maine, or what else could they do?
You could go to my wiki blog. If you go to legends1027.com, on the homepage, there's a link that takes you to my blog where I post everything I talk about every day.
It's all up there. Plus, we take this video here. We put it up on the YouTube's youtube.com, and you can search out Sarah's Wiki Corner. You'll see the archives up there, the video archives. Fascinating conversation, by the way, where we were playing the record. You'll see all of that up on YouTube as well. Like and subscribe to the channel, and you'll be notified whenever we upload a new video.
And we go live on Facebook, too.
We do.
Every day.
We do.
Yep.
Have a wonderful weekend, okay?
You too.
Don't get washed away in all this rain that's coming.
I know.
And we'll chat again Monday.
I have my umbrella, don't worry.
4:10, fresh episode. Would never doubt that. All right? Have a good weekend.
You too.
Traffic and weather coming up next on Legends 1027.